Today, I'll be talking on what is habit building, right? And I've made this into three sections. We're going to talk first about what is habit, then we'll discuss about habit building process, and we'll talk about how to build habits. So, first off, what is habit, right? Um, According to Cambridge Dictionary, right, is something you do often and regularly, sometimes without knowing that you're doing it, right? For example, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you probably do is you brush your teeth, right? You do it without thinking of, whether I need to expend so much energy into doing this. You do it just very easily. Now, at the same time, if you're feeling, not too active in the morning, what you can do is, you make yourself a cup of coffee. I don't know. Some people on here could be, coffee. You take coffee in the morning just to stay alert, right? Or for some other folks, it could be tea. So now, the process of building habits actually follows this four process. Are we on? Okay. Now, the process of building habits follows this four process, and is a continuous circle that happens every day. And as humans, we like to think we are in control, when in reality, our brains are actually the ones that sort of controlling and directing us, right? So the first step is cue, craving, response, and reward. And as we progress, we'll see how this comes to play. Now, let's take cue, for example. Now, cue triggers the brain to initiate a behavior and is an indicator that predicts a reward. Now, our minds are continuously analyzing our internal and external environments for hints that will lead to a reward, and a cue then leads to a craving for a change in state. Now, what am I trying to say here? Now, let's say, for example, it's a cold weather, it's about to snow or something like that, and you're indoors, right? You begin to that's a cue to put on your thermostat, or you put on sweaters, right? Because when you put on your sweater, or when you turn on your thermostat, it's going to bring about warmth, right? That you want that feeling of warmth. At the same time, when let's say you're walking by Domino's, you perceive the scent of oven baked pizza. It's a joyful delight, right? When you perceive that sense, you want to go into the store and purchase. You want to go into the store and purchase pizza, right? Wait, let me even use an example from KFC. Now, you see with KFC, if you notice very well with KFC, anytime you go into KFC, right, and you purchase, fried food, let's say the chips and all that, it gives you this munchy sound, like it's the same across all of the different stores, right? There's that same crunchy feel. Like that crunchy feel makes you feel good. Like the taste in your mouth, the salt hitting your taste buds, it feels really, really nice. All right, great. It feels really nice, and it delivers this reward of, this pleasant feeling. At the same time, let's say after work today you're feeling stressed. That could be a cue for you to possibly go out for a walk, or you might probably want to watch Netflix. You might want to watch maybe YouTube, or make yourself some dinner and eat some really, really nice homemade food. Uh, okay, great. So now notification sound is a cue to check for updates across multiple devices. I don't know if you noticed just right now. I heard the notification on my PC, and I went in to check what that notification was, which was Victor's message, right? So that was a cue that, okay, I need to see what is going on, right? At the same time, with your phones, your phones are phones, right? When you receive notifications from social media, the boss is always like, I want to see what is happening, because you want to stay on top of the current news and happening. Now, let me give you another sort of contrived example here. Let's say if you look into the random channel, I think Victor has been posting a link to making homemade pizza, right? So that is a cue for wanting to eat pizza for someone else, right? I'm going to use this same example to explain the rest of the feedback loop for habit building. Now, the second stage is craving. Now, the craving is the second step of habit loop, and it's the driving force behind every habit, right? When what we desire is not the habit itself, but the change in state it delivers. craving between persons and results to different actions, right? Okay, so for the parents on here, you would notice with your children, right? When you're going to KFC or to have some fast food or junk food as the case may be, it's that feeling of eating that crisp, you know, fried food or that crisp chicken or that ice cream, when it hits your taste bud, it feels really good. It feels really relaxing, right? That feeling. Now, that craving is going to be like, they'll keep disturbing you till you take them to get to the store and you purchase that item for them. So that's where craving comes in. The cue could be, you want to feel good, you want to you know, initiate a particular behavior, right? Now, let's say, now we do not crave to turn on our TV, but rather we want to be entertained. Like, when you sit in your parlor, it's not really because you actually want to watch TV, it's because you want to be entertained. At the same time, when you're watching the news, it's because you want to stay on top of the happenings around you, right? Now, same thing for, Coke. Everybody knows that if you drink way too much Coke, you have a tendency to be obese and, diabetes and all that. But at the same time, it's that feeling of relief. It is that sweetness when it hits your taste bud that, that makes you to want to continue purchasing Coke, even though it is detrimental to health. Okay, I'm still on here. All right. Now, again, we brush our teeth every morning because not because we want to do it, not because it's fun to brush your teeth, but because when you brush your teeth in the morning and that feeling of fresh breath. If you watch most of the ads, if you watch Sensodyne's advert on TV, right? Let me use that for example. I don't know if it's the same thing in the UK. Now, when you notice that they start with a person that has toothache. Now, that is a cue, like right? It is very painful. Now, you begin to crave a desire in state. Right. Now, your response will now be to go and purchase Sensodyne. And when you use Sensodyne to brush, it will give you a soothing feeling, like it eases your pain. So that is where craving comes in. You want that change in state from a painful experience to something really, really soothing, something really, really nice. Now, the third stage in the feedback loop for habit building is response. Response refers to the actual habit performed, whether in form of action or thought or a thought. Now, a response will only occur depending on how motivated you are and how easy it is to carry out the action. And if the action requires more physical and mental effort than you're willing to expend, you won't do it. Now, what else? I started talking about you being a parent and your children craving for ice cream or KFC for fried food and all that. Your response in that case could be picking up your car key and driving down to the store to purchase that item, right? And I give another example of the homemade pizza that Victor posted on the random channel, right? Now, for someone like me, that I really I began to crave, wanting to eat pizza. That was the cue for me. Him posting that link, I saw the picture of it. I began to crave, that really, really that delicious taste, that yummy feel that eating pizza delivers to you. But in this case, I need to expend a lot of physical and mental effort, which I do not have, in the sense that I have to order the ingredients and I have to make them myself, which I do not have the skill set to do. And I don't think they deliver here to Nigeria. To make matters worse, there is no Domino's around my area. So that means that I cannot respond to this particular cue of wanting to eat pizza, right? So if I thought I want to respond to it, I'd have to travel to maybe Abuja or Lagos, as the case may be, which requires me to spend a lot of money. So definitely that habit will not manifest. And for the last stage for feed for habit building process is reward. Now, rewards are the end goal of every habit. Now, the brain picks up on a cue and anticipates a reward. The craving motivates us into wanting the reward. Now, the response brings about obtaining the reward, and the reward delivers the satisfaction of the habit. And if the habit is satisfying, we tend to repeat it, and with repetition, the habit becomes involuntary, thus making it easy to repeat, and the cycle continues. Now, what this is saying is the whole purpose of actually manifesting a habit is the reward. When you wake up in the morning and the cue and you perceive your breath and it doesn't sense nice, that's a cue that you should go and brush your teeth. Now you pick up your brush, apply your paste, and you brush your mouth and you breath again and it sounds really good. That is the reward. That reward of fresh breath. At the same time, you wake up in the morning, you groom yourself, you have a really nice bath and you apply perfume to yourself. And when you're walking down to your office and your coworker tells you, wow, you sent really nice today, you look really good today. That reward, that feeling of approval is that's why we execute that habit every day effortlessly, right? At the same time, I give an example of KFC. When if you notice closely with most of the fast food joints, the experience is usually the same. Now, I don't mean yes, there's some mistakes in terms of customer service and all that, but I'm talking of the actual experience of going to those store and ordering food and eating it. It tastes the same way. It hits your taste bud the same way. It makes you feel really good, right? So that's why you always want to come back there and continue purchasing those items. So now let's talk about how to build effective habits. Now, to build effective habits, we first off you need to break the habits into smaller bits that are easy to start. You want to make the habit obvious, make it attractive, thus making it easy. Then you want to make the habit satisfying. And let me give you an example here. Let's say, for example, you are trying to okay. Let's say, for example, you're trying to read a book. Let's say the book has about 20 chapters. Now, to make it obvious, what you can do is plant the book close to your bed. So when you wake up in the morning or when you're about to go into bed at night, you see the book on there. And you can say, okay, to make it, attractive, what you can do is you can say, all right, for chapter one, I'm going to read 5 pages this morning. I'm going to read 5 pages in the afternoon and 5 pages in the evening. However, to make the habit repeat itself, what you can go a step further to make it satisfying, so as to complete the loop of cue, craving, response, and reward. Now, what you can do is you can say, after I've read 5 pages of this book, right, I am going to watch maybe 10 minutes of YouTube or Netflix, or I'm going to watch an episode of maybe your favorite movie, right? So that is a satisfying experience. With that, you begin the process of building a habit, right? Because now you wake up in the morning, the cue is after you brush your teeth, you read five pages, right? Sorry, the cue is to pick up your book. Now the craving is you want to be able to watch an episode of your favorite movie after reading the book. So the response therefore would be to pick up your book and read 5 chapter. And after you've read, beg your pardon, you read 5 pages. And after you've read 5 pages, the reward that is going to be very satisfying. You're going to pick up, watch about 1 episode of your favorite movie. So basically, everything we do revolves around cue, craving, response, and reward. Now, the cue is what triggers the brain to go into that craving state. Now, at craving state, you begin to desire a change in state. You want to, let's say you're feeling down before, you probably grab a cup of coffee, or you go out and exercise, you watch TV. Now, the response would be to actually open up your laptop and open up your TV so that's to your favorite station. And the reward is that feeling of satisfaction that you get after executing these habits. And if this process is actually easy to repeat, what we will find ourselves doing it the same way over and over again. That's why bad habits tend to grow up on us, because it's actually easy to do and delivers satisfying reward instantly. So if you want to be able to build effective habits, break down those good habits that you want into smaller chunks and begin to take on those habits bit by bit. Make it obvious, make it attractive, and make it satisfying. Thank you. Welcome to my TEDx talk.